All right.
Yeah.
Are we just jumping in?
I have Mourning Brew.
Give it to me.
Okay. So let me check my notes real quick because I'm a little, not only do I have like pregnancy brain, I also have like new mummy brain. So honestly, I'm just an idiot, literally. So bear with me.
All right.
Okay, yeah. So for Mourning Brew, there's literally nothing in the news that we haven't talked about already, which is really weird, and it also really sucks because this is my last technical Mourning Brew, and this is like one of my favorite things to do every week is look up horrible articles and read them with you guys, but nothing bad has happened.
What?
which is a good thing. I'm sure that's a good thing. I'm sure. But I do have some stuff.
Okay.
I came across a list of movie tropes. This is gonna sound silly, but bear with me, it's interesting, I promise. Movie tropes that we all seemingly have taken as fact, but they're actually untrue.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
so into this. Let's go.
Okay, cool. So this is from TikTok, obviously, and this is from a creator named Jason K. Pargan. And I have all of the links, so I'll make sure to send these to the new editor, because that's also not me, you guys. But first up, buried pirate treasure being found. It doesn't happen. Not one single scrap of treasure from pirates has ever been found, ever. Never, ever. Ever.
Okay.
At least not recorded. You know what I mean? I'm sure.
I guess because like the pirates spent it all. So like
Ooh.
I don't see pirates as like, saving money.
I think they... Did you just hear that?
There's no buried treasure because they wouldn't bury it. They would use it.
Maybe. I know that not that long ago, Patrick was watching this show on Discovery Channel. I like some Discovery Channel stuff. I love documentaries and stuff. But I only have a pretty small attention span for most things. And if it doesn't get me, it's never going to get me. And he was watching this fucking show about some fucking treasure in some fucking place and these fucking people looking for it and documenting it. And the way that the documentary was set up is that they had a lot of these staged scenes where like the conversation was real. Like imagine you and I scripted our interactions throughout the entire podcast. Like this moment was scripted and it's obvious. It's like, it was, I just didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, just ugly and stupid. So I couldn't tell you what was going on in that show, but I know that they were looking for a buried treasure, so I know that it exists. But anyways, that's a trope, doesn't exist, no one's ever found any.
Damn it, the Goonies were wrong. Fiction, it's all fiction.
It's all lies. Second is deadly quicksand is apparently not true at all. Quicksand exists.
I knew that.
Yeah. But it's shallow, and there's no record of anyone ever dying in quicksand. And I don't know if it's just me, but did you not have, like, an irrational fear of this as a child?
I mean, I guess, but only because it was always depicted on cartoons and stuff.
A trope. I mean,
I've been on this planet for 30 years, and I've never encountered quicksand, so...
Mm-mm. And you've never heard of anyone dying in quicksand?
They should really be trying to warn us about way more
capitalism,
prevalent
probably.
Things than capitalism, probably. Yeah, for
also,
sure. They totally should be trying to teach us against
like,
capitalism.
Being on fire was pushed on us like it would happen every other day, like stop, drop, and roll. I was terrified walking through life at any moment I was going to be on fire. I have never been on fire, to my recollection.
I mean, people do spontaneously combust sometimes.
I don't think you can stop, drop, and roll with a spontaneous combustion.
I don't think you can.
You need to write that down and talk about spontaneous combustion in your next episode.
I literally bought a new notebook to take notes.
Yay! I feel like millennials like us get so excited over a new notebook.
Oh my god, look at it, it's so cute.
Yes. Okay, see how cute that is? And literally, if you put that pattern, listeners, it's a very floral, kind of muted jewel tone colored, floral-ish pattern, whatever. If you put that pattern on anything
Very
else,
80s, very 80s.
it wouldn't be in your life,
I
though.
put
If
them
you
on
put that on a
leggings.
shawl, or would you wear it? You would not.
Leggings like that?
Yeah.
I
Really?
used to wear loud leggings all the time, and I only stopped because my soon-to-be ex-husband disapproved of my loud pant wear.
He was trying to silence your pants.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing for him.
It's embarrassing for me too, bitch.
Well, I can't wait to see you in a pair of light leggings. Because I had no idea that you would wear those. So, Christmas, even though you don't celebrate
back
it.
when I was like, Christmas, 12 months away.
Watch me forget.
Yeah, you have mommy and pregnant brain.
Oh, God. I'll have 2 kids this Christmas. I'm not talking about this. Okay.
Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that till you said it right now.
I know. And if this one's born in June, July, whatever, July, August, September, October, November, December, it'll be 5 months. Oh. Okay. Number 3 of movie tropes that we were all convinced were real. Number 3, highly paid professional assassins are not a thing. Yes, assassins
yeah, of course
are.
they're not.
I thought they were. I thought like Russian assassins were absolutely a thing, and always
like maybe,
Russian.
And always Russian. Maybe like in a Marvel movie, like Black Widow or something, but
yeah,
definitely not in reality.
Assassins are a thing. But he says that usually it's like people that just need the money, like goons.
Yeah. And the trope in your mind, though, of like a Russian assassin is definitely like a remnant of like Cold War propaganda. That like the Russians, because they're communists, they're bad, you know?
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I wouldn't have thought of that. Let's see. He says that yes, people get paid to kill, but it's not this like lush, lavish job where you're rich. He said you'd need a side job. And when he said that, I thought it was so funny because it kind of showed his age a little bit. Like this TikToker, like if you're listening or if you're a fan of him, I don't know him very well. This is just the first one I came across. But everybody my age and younger has a fucking side job because of necessity, not because of like,
no shit.
You know what I mean? Like it's seldom that you're going to come across someone that has just like one job that they're happy with and like living by themselves and don't have a roommate and you know what I mean? It's not happening.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Number 4, silencers for guns that actually silence the guns are not real. It still sounds like a gun. It's still loud. It's just not as big as the gun sound would make without the silencer. So you know, like the little that you hear in like
it's definitely more than that. Yeah,
it's definitely more than that. Definitely, according to this guy.
So
if you guys know
like
different,
it's kind of like when you have like a rude ass downstairs neighbor who doesn't have a muffler in their car. Kind of like that, like the muffler. It's like the car is still loud, but definitely not as loud as without it.
I haven't seen or heard from that car in a few weeks, so as much as I would not be practicing anything other than whatever I am these days, I also feel like I can still heavily manifest things to happen and whoops, but also serves you fucking right. Okay, number 5. I thought this one was really interesting. Knockout gas for humans. So you know, like the movie trope or whatever, when someone throws like a can of gas into a crowd to like knock them out?
Yeah, like the Joker does with the laughing gas.
Yeah, I mean, laughing gas, there's like smoke bombs and stuff that you can do to like hide things and like whatever. But if you threw a can of a type of gas that would knock somebody out into a crowd of people, you would more than likely kill more of those people than you would want to. You'd kill them. And that's the whole reason that we need a professional in the room when we have like surgery and shit, because they have to manage like the dosage and supervise you and stuff, because it's very easy to kill people with these gases.
Yeah.
So that's bullshit.
That's crazy, because I was just listening to an episode of another podcast I like, and they talked about the case behind like where the term Stockholm syndrome comes from.
Okay.
And it was like this guy went into a bank to rob the bank, and he held everybody in there hostage. This is in Sweden, obviously. And the cops like bungled like assisting the hostages so bad that the hostages ended up developing Stockholm syndrome and siding with their captors because their captors were treating them better. Anyway, the cops their genius plan was to like drill into the vault of the bank and then throw gas at them, which would essentially knock out not only the perpetrators of the hostage situation, but also the hostages.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it doesn't make any sense, so.
No.
Yeah.
While we're talking about Stockholm Syndrome, it's me. It's me.
What?
I just immediately... okay, you know that episode of It's Always Sunny? I know we always reference the show, but we, like, have to. Where...
Don't worry, because this is the last time that show is going to be referenced, since no one else I know watches that show.
You can definitely still reference it. People will get it. I'm sure.
I definitely will, because I do everything to entertain myself always.
That episode where the McPoyles come and take hostage at the bar, and like Dee immediately gets Stockholm syndrome. She's like, "Oh yeah, you guys, I can totally understand," or whatever. Like, I just know like my personality type. Like, if you're hostaging me, like I'm in love with you. Even if you're hideous, I'm like, dang, he's actually kind of fire though. Like, does anybody see what I see? It's me. I'm Stockholm.
You know, I know thyself. I think it's really brave of you to be so honest about who you are as an individual, not only with yourself, but with the listeners as well. I appreciate that.
I will always self-expose. Like, you'll never find anything new to bite me unless I told you.
That's what happens when you're shameless.
Interestingly, this is the same for tranquilizer darts. They're not real. And this guy says...
Let me guess. Truth serum isn't real either.
This guy says, and I kind of wanted to quote this because I might disagree. He said that if tranquilizer darts were real, the cops would use them. Would they?
Oh.
Would they?
Yeah, I don't think they would. They have fucking tasers, and they
also have rubber bullets, and we're still seeing people shot in the street for nothing. So
I mean, a rubber bullet could still kill you.
Well, yeah, if it hit the right place.
Yeah.
Or the wrong place, I should say.
I was gonna wait for you to correct yourself. But yeah, no, I don't know. They have tasers and they don't use them. They have batons and they don't use them.
I feel like I'd rather get shot than take a baton to the head, but I have a headache, so that's probably why.
I feel like if you have a headache, maybe taking a baton to the head would help your headache.
That's funny, because Patrick maintains the same theory, because this morning, what just happened? Sorry. This morning, I took the baby from him, and I was like, doing like the thing that you do to babies, like, blah, 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 and I hit the back of my head really, 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 really hard, and it upset me so bad, not because it like hurt all that much, but because I already had a fucking headache, and I knew that I was set up for the rest of the day with this headache, so this was just like insult to injury. And he said, well, maybe it'll make it better, and I really thought that he was trying to make some joke like knock some sense into you, which I have a backstory as to why I hate it when people say knock some sense into you, but yeah,
because it's violent as fuck.
I mean, I guess it was so it's really quick. I know it's like a tangent again, but basically long story short, I was the new girl in a school when I was like 10, this one specific school, I was like 10 or 11 or whatever. And a bunch of the boys in my class kept like asking me to be their girlfriend. And you know the way back in like middle school, like you'd have a boyfriend just based on them asking you. It wasn't like serious, obviously. And I just started, I was like, no. And I was really, really shy with boys back then. I wasn't really like that. And I was like, no. And then this one boy asked me, and I said no. But I thought about it later, and I was like, actually, he's really cute. And, like, all the girls that I'd become friends with, I mentioned it to one of them, and she was like, well, I'll go tell him that you like him and that you actually meant yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay. So this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm telling the story. So she goes and tells him, and apparently he was joking, and he had a girlfriend. He had a girlfriend. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And his girlfriend then hated me for the rest of the time that I was at the school, which wasn't long, thank God. And around the end of the day, I was going into the girls' toilets, and she was in there with all her friends, and I was walking in there with all my friends, and this is like my second or first day, bear in mind. And I walk in, and I see her, and there's like a big long queue, and I'm like, fuck this, girls, let's go somewhere else. And I turn, and I hit my head on the hand dryer, and she was like, good, I bet that knocked some sense into you. And it was such a good line. It was so quick. It was really good for being like 10. And I've just forever hated that line. Scarred for life.
That. I 100% get that. That sounds super embarrassing and really traumatizing. Sorry that it happened to you.
I mean, I deserved it. I deserved it.
Maybe
the attention went to my head, and I picked the only boy that had a fucking girlfriend. I was a whole class.
I didn't know he had a girlfriend.
That's true. That's true. I didn't know. I wouldn't have done that if I did know. I was 10 or 11, however. Okay. Next trope that's all lies and bullshit. Any kind of harmless blow to the head will just be fine. So think James Bond when we talk about this one. The way he gets knocked out for hours on end and then comes to later and is like, oh, where am I? Like tied up in the bad guy's den. Bullshit. And if you lose consciousness for any length of time, you need hospital care because damage has been done. Especially if it's hours at a time, you've done very serious damage. So that's bullshit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any blow to the head is at least possibly fatal. Like, okay.
Yeah, especially if you're losing consciousness. Like, something happened. 7, breaking someone's neck by twisting it with your bare hands really fast. It's not gonna happen.
It's not real?
I'm terrified of this one, and I will not let Patrick crack my neck because I'm scared of this. But if you think about it, our heads and necks can move that way naturally. So if moving that way quickly, right, was something that could kill us, design flaw, like there would be so many more deaths, like randomly from hearing shit behind you and getting startled, you know, like looking like this.
That does happen to people sometimes, I thought. I think it has more to do with like the like equilibrium or something like in your fucking head, and like if you shift too fast, you might like knock yourself out and kill yourself. I don't know. Ooh. I thought that was real.
According to this guy, it isn't. Yeah, that's just a bullshit one too.
All right.
This one's interesting. The cops drawing a tape or chalk outline around a body at a crime scene. They do not do that, and they have never done that because this would contaminate the crime scene. So obviously they don't do this. Who actually started doing it was photographers and newspaper people because they wanted to show where the body was without like taking a picture of the actual body.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would have guessed that some like old novelist in the 1910s made it up or something in a book.
Yeah, police or detectives don't do that. I know that they like leave markers and stuff, you know, like in like scenes, like they'll like leave a bunch of markers all over the place.
And they also have a fucking photographer.
Yeah, but they don't draw lines around the body. That's like after. That's like media people.
Interesting. I didn't know
this
that one.
One's interesting too. This one's a little unclear because like obviously law differs every step you take in any direction, state, country, whatever. But the idea that when you get arrested, you are guaranteed one free phone call. This is not true. This is not facts. Like, if you're, like, you'll see, like, all the time in, like, shows and stuff when someone's arrested, they're like, I want my phone call. You're not actually definitely entitled to a phone call. It really it depends on your charge, and it depends on where you live, and, like, a bunch of shit.
I feel like I would just call, like, another country internationally, so it would cost them.
Well, that's also up for debate whether it's free or not. So I think, because he mentions that too, how it's, like, meant to be a free call. It might not be. Like, you might end up getting a bill. You might end up, like, negative commissary. What? Like, yeah, of course. You're not surprised by that.
Oh, you're right, I'm not.
Okay, this is the last one. And I really wanted to mention this one because we talked about this, like, 2 or 3 episodes ago. And this one is waiting 24 to 48 hours before reporting someone missing is not true. You do not have to do this. You do not have to wait 24 or 48 hours. You can do it immediately. You don't have to wait. Apparently, you can do this at any time, according to him.
Okay.
So I figured I had to mention that one because when I saw that, I felt like an idiot.
To say that their kids were kidnapped instead of missing.
Yeah.
So
which I still think is...
guys.
I still think that's
never
a
mind.
fact.
Still
I don't know. But also, like, if you're telling them that they're kidnapped, you still have to tell them exactly what's happened. So, you know what I mean? You still have to tell the truth at some point.
Just tell the truth, yeah.
Yeah. Probably don't lie to cops, right? Is that illegal?
That is not illegal. The cops lie to you when they're telling you that they have evidence on you and XYZ so they can get some false fucking confession out of you so they can shut the case. It's like, that's, no, of course, it's not illegal to lie. I watch a lot of interrogation videos when I have free time. That's, like, my favorite thing to do. And, like, these range from, like, short to, like, 4 hours long. Like, sometimes I'll be on the same interrogation video for months, like, trying to get through this. And I like to think that I know a lot of techniques and tactics, but obviously you don't until you're, like, in the room or whatever. But one thing that, I don't know if I want to say this, because if you're a bad guy and you've done something wrong, I don't really want you to know this. But if you're a good guy and you're innocent, I'll just say this. You are always entitled to legal counsel and legal representation, and you should always take it, innocent or not. Always. Yep. It's in your best 100%. Interest. Yep. Yeah, so I'll leave it at that. Agree.
That's tropes that are bullshit.
All right.
I have a little thing. I know this isn't, like, usual morning brew, and maybe you guys might think it's boring, but it's the best I could do with nothing crazy happening in the world, I guess.
Oh my god, do you understand how fucking privileged you sound right now?
I know, I'm so sorry. But there's a very specific type of news we're looking for, or I'm looking for with Morning Brew, and that's, like, devastating, yes. Too freshly devastating, no. Like, I'm not reporting on
current events that are, like,
school shootings. Like, it's meant to be a little bit more lighthearted than that. You know what I mean? Like... Yeah. Or maybe when you take over Morning Brew, you might want to keep it dark and awful. Last thing I wanted to mention in Morning Brew, because we had talked about Shein when we covered the Balenciaga situation. I came across this woman on TikTok, of course. She got an order from Shein recently, and inside the dress that she ordered were 6 folded pieces of paper, each saying the same thing. Quote, "You're gonna die in this suit," unquote.
I just got full body chills.
What the fuck? It was a dress.
Oh, that's scary.
By the way. I think I said that. But the note said you're gonna die in this suit, but she ordered a dress. So immediately I recognized possibly a bit of a language barrier, and possibly because I have spoken to a lot of people in China for, like, products and manufacturing and stuff like that. And there is a way that you can tell with the language, you know what I mean? So dress could, or suit, like, clothing, whatever, that could be a translation. Anyways, doesn't make it any less fucking scary. She contacted the police. She said in her TikTok that she won't be wearing this or trying this on. She immediately washed her hands and wears gloves if she needs to handle this product at all. And in a follow-up video, she said that maybe it's possible that someone ordered this, then shipped it back to the company, and then they just like shipped it to her. But nothing has been confirmed yet. I'm kind of leaning on the side of that, and I'll tell you why. She said that she placed a large order with them, and this was part of that large order, and it was the only thing that showed up, and the rest of the stuff was still on the way. So, if you're familiar with the Shein app, which I'm never gonna lie to you guys, I have ordered from Shein many times in the past. Obviously, with things coming out more and more, I won't be, and I'm trying to get better about supporting fast fashion, but it's hard when you're fucking poor, right? Anyways, they have an option. They have an option at checkout that's like quick ship, and that's basically the product that you're looking for is already in the country, or it's closer to you than like the rest of the stuff, and sometimes you can get it within a week, and the rest is coming from, you know, mothership in China. Yeah. So kind of circling back to, sorry, that like weird pulling thing keeps happening every time I breathe deep. Circling back to her theory on it being like someone bought it and then shipped it back to them and then they just shipped it to her. Could be that. Okay. Or, you know, like I mentioned that one time with the tags begging for help and stuff, maybe they're just sending death threats now. So.
Well, that's utterly terrifying. Thank you for making my stomach hurt.
That's your morning brew. Azania than azania.
Was your goal in the morning brew today to make me feel as sick as you've been lately? Because I feel sick now. That was scary.
Fast fashion shouldn't be fucked with. Even though I know what happens, and come on. I know how it is.
Gross.